Hello, and welcome to Party Select, where two dudes and a guy who's their friend talk about the best thing there is, video games. My name is Shay. I am your host for this episode of the podcast, and I'm joined as always by Kyle. Hello, Kyle.
It's nice to see you, sir. Both of you, sirs.
Indeed. And Cody. I'm not going to salute you. Hey. What's going on,
guys?
I'm gaming here.
I'm gaming over here.
I feel like we our content schedule has been weird, and so it's been like 2 weeks since we've actually recorded something together, which
That's
isn't
true.
normally how it goes. And so I feel like out of the loop with you guys, you know? Like
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, we did hang out the other night. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We
Sure.
gamed a little bit the other night. But we do, as always, have a jam-packed episode. Lots of video games to talk about. Before we get into the agenda, as always, I have a quick question. We are 2/3 of the way through the year.
Great.
Wow.
Given that, knowing that there's a bunch of stuff yet to come, what's y'all's Cody so far? Is there a front runner?
Oh,
Yeah.
Put me
Cody?
on the spot.
I think I know the answer for both of you, but I want to hear it from the horses' mouths.
Right.
What's your
Um,
game of the year so far, Cody?
It's Claire Obscure, without a doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems fair. I believe you
Though
said it
I-
was like in your top 10 of all time now.
Yeah, I mean, like it's moved. Yeah, it's in a pretty comfortable spot now. But yeah, I don't even know that there's something even close to that. I mean, I really like Death Stranding 2. That'd probably be my number 2, but even that's not even close to Claire
Yeah.
Obscure for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I need to think about it. Right now,
I
it's
thought
kind
there
of
was a clear answer.
no. It's kind of a toss-up. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Atom Fall, and Death Stranding 2. I think are the three. It's a little bit probably not Atom Fall. Probably between Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Death Stranding 2.
No love for Fantasy Life?
I love if fantasy life would be 4.
Okay. That's what I thought you were going to say, because you went hard on
Yeah.
Fantasy Life.
Yeah.
You had a torrid affair with that game.
Things got hot and heavy.
Yeah.
It's also that answer is interesting, and it speaks to how good Kingdom Come is because you've played a lot less of that than you have Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, I keep desperately needing to go back and finish Kingdom Come, and it's so much to dive back into. I keep coming up with excuses not to, but I super need to do that.
I feel like we should commit to that. Like you and I, if we make like a pact to both go play more Kingdom Come, because that's been my problem, is it's been long enough and I didn't even get as far as you did in it, that it feels very intimidating to try to pick it back up. But I know that I need to, because I feel like that would be my game of the year.
It's
'Cause
incredible.
I don't have a front runner right now. Right now I have an answer that I don't want to spoil because it's a game we're going to talk about that I've been playing this past month. That's right now it's at the top of my list. And it's not that I don't love it, because I do, but it's a weird pick. And I feel like Kingdom Come, of the games that I have played, if I had sunk more time into it, it would be a very strong contender for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's been a weird year for me. There are a lot of games that I really like. Sleeper Citizen 2 has been great. Split Fiction. Like there are games that I think are like excellent, but nothing that feels like it's a runaway I'm in love with.
Sure. I get that. I have been uniquely catered to so far this year in a really big
And
way.
more to come.
Yeah.
More to come.
A lot more.
Yeah, that's where I feel like I'm missing. I feel like this year has been a lot of games that aren't really made for me.
Sure.
And it's like Ghost of Yote is like the one remaining game that's like a me game.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
not totally true. Sword of the Sea, where we're talking about, also is definitely a me game. But in terms of things I haven't played yet, I feel like that's the only big game that I'm like gonna be a contender. But
Okay.
yeah, drop in the comments or send us an email, partyselectpod@gmail.com. Would love to hear where y'all are at in terms of your game of the year considerations. Knowing we've got 4 big months to go. But yeah, curious where y'all are sitting so far. as I said, we have a bunch of stuff we're talking about. We're going to start with our game select from last month, which was Mafia: The Old Country. And then, as I mentioned, Sword of the Sea, Cody and I played. Cody's been playing some Is This Seat Taken? I played the demo of Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, which is just a horrendously bad name.
It
I know
is.
it's based on like another book IP, I believe, but it's so bad. Metal Gear Solid Delta, The Altars, a bunch of old games, mostly from Kyle, because he's got a penchant for playing random old games.
Let's fucking go.
And then we all played some Helldivers 2 together, just in celebration of the Xbox release, and Kyle and Cody had not been playing for a very long time, so it was fun for me to get back in there with you guys. And then we've got our critical hits. Each of us are bringing a different topic for this episode that we'll be diving into, an update on our Fantasy Critic lineups that we do every month, and then talking about our monthly game releases in September, and then our game select for September, which is the game all three of us are going to play together. Well, not together, but we're all going to play it.
Yeah.
And talk about it on the next episode.
And everybody at home, listening or watching, should also play it, and then let us know what you think via email or comments, and then we'll read those inputs or comments on that section at the top of the next flagship pod.
I agree with that. That's a good plan. So what say we talk about last month's game select, which was Mafia: The Old Country. All three of us beat this game, which I find very interesting.
That is interesting, right? It's
not horribly long.
Rare. That's very rare.
It's pretty short.
It is. Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it's a dozen-ish hours.
Yeah, 10 to 12 probably.
Like that's not short. It's certainly shorter than many large AAA games, but that's still a time commitment for all three of us to finish. And I know, Cody, when we talked about like yours was a little bit like you try to beat every game that you buy.
Yeah.
So it was a little less
sure
that you were loving the game and more an obligatory thing.
Right.
But this game, I feel like I've been surprised by the critical reception of this game, in that the scores I think are higher than the game deserves, but also I find myself defending this game whenever someone says bad things about it.
Are you sure they're higher? Because I have this on Fantasy Critic, and it's scored me 4 points, 74.
Oh, okay. Then it's gone down since I looked at it
went
after
down
release.
when more.
I think it was like a
reviews came in.
78 a week or so after it had come out. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
74 feels right.
That feels a lot better. Yeah, I believe this game is a 6 out of 10, but for me it's a 7 out of 10 because I just am a sucker for what it's doing from a story perspective. But yeah, I guess to take a step back on Mafia: The Old Country for those that have not been paying attention to this game, because I wouldn't blame you because it didn't get a lot of marketing and it's like more a AA style game. It falls in line with most of the previous Mafia games in that it is set in a facade of an open world, but the game itself is extremely linear.
Yeah.
Which I believe was the case for Mafia 1 and 2, and then the third one felt a little more like an open world game where there were side missions and things like that. I've never played a Mafia game before, personally.
And for another video game that released this year called Mind's Eye, there are some very weird structural similarities. Obviously,
That's not great for
execution. No, the execution on that structure far, far better in Mafia than Mind's Eye. But it has the same surreal feeling when you're playing it, where it's like they built all this, they're not using any of it.
Yeah, why aren't they using any of it?
Yeah.
But I think the elevator pitch is it takes place in early 20th century, like 1903, 04 through a couple of years after that in Italy. And it's basically the early days of the Mafia in like Sicily. And you play as a guy who was sort of an indentured servant in sulfur mines. You escape, you get caught up in the Mafia lifestyle, and it kind of follows I would say, fairly rote, expected plot.
Yeah.
with not, I wouldn't say there are really any twists of note that like felt unexpected. It's a pretty boilerplate story.
There's something about the end that I don't agree with.
That was unexpected.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess I would.
But parentheses negative.
Yeah, I didn't find it unexpected. I think the execution of it was so bad that it felt out of place. But for a story like this, I think that is fairly common. Well, I know that's fairly common.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't need to spoil the game because this game is all story. From a gameplay perspective, like I said, it's extremely linear. I would say you are walking and or watching cutscenes more than you are actually playing the game.
100%.
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
And when you are playing the game, it is an extremely rote
like it.
third-person shooter.
Like playing
cover-based shooter.
Yeah, it plays like a really low caliber one of those. Like the driving is really sluggish and stiff, and kind of unpredictable with some of the physics stuff. Like,
I liked riding the horse. The horse felt nice.
The horse was way better than driving a car.
Yeah.
The stealth stuff, the AI is so brain dead.
Bad.
It's like, they have all these boxes that you can hide bodies in, but the AI is so bad, like they're never gonna see a dead body, and if they do, it usually works to your. They don't intersect.
They don't cross.
9 times out of 10.
There's like almost no place for them to see a dead body.
And the segments crazy. That are that require stealth, and the sections that are action are not stealthable. They require action. So it's not like you have an option on how to engage with these encounters. They are prescripted to you. Like, you're going to sneak here, or you are going to fight here, or drive here, or whatever it is.
And a majority of the stealth sections end up in a firefight. Like, that's the pretty standard mission structure, is you stealth your way into something, do a thing, and then all the bad guys know you're there, and you got to shoot your way out. Yep. And then at the end, you have a knife fight with a boss.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
At the end of the mission,
a lot of
you have
times
a knife
is
fight with
holding a
someone.
gun. A lot of times the boss is holding a gun
with a knife.
And then your character pulls out a knife, and the boss is like, I'm gonna fight you with honor. And he drops the, even though he's like some dishonorable, horrible person, he's like, no, this is the one code I'm gonna stick to, is this moment right here.
This ties into another one of the problems I had with the game of when you choose your knife, you choose the style of knife, and then different knives can do different things. I chose the one that you could throw.
Okay.
I never got a tutorial on how to do that, and I never did it. I never used my knife outside of the boss fights. I was always only suffocating the dudes.
Why would
never
you?
used my knife. And why would you? And on top of that, so this is the larger thing I didn't like, is there were so many systems in that game I just never engaged with. Right. I never changed the thing on my beads or whatever for the different. There's no need.
That's essentially their upgrade system, where you can pick perks, like you're finding beads for your whatever it's called, your rosary necklace.
Right. And I never went to that dude's shop and bought anything. Never.
I did one time just to do it.
Yeah.
Sure. There's no need to do any of that.
So I went and I bought a new gun, but there's a setting, and I bought a new outfit, I bought a new car, I did all this stuff, but there's a setting where it's like, hey, I want to be using all of the story
weapons,
story specific weapons and outfits and stuff, so that it doesn't look out of place or whatever. And so you don't get to you never really get to choose. There were 2 points in the whole game where I got to go do a loadout of stuff that I wanted to bring with me on a mission. Otherwise, it just was not an option. It was I was why was I looting all these bodies to get this money to spend on this stuff? I don't get to use the stuff. There are all these systems that are remnants of when this was going to be an open world game with more depth of the systems. And they just, instead of just scrapping them and letting this be this linear narrative,
scoped in,
which I was expecting it to be, it's this weird blend that doesn't, I think in those ways, does not come together at all. Because to your point, Shay, it's a pretty boilerplate one of these stories, but it's told really well. I think all the
So
acting is terrific. The music is good. I mean, graphically, it looks fantastic. I was playing on the PS5.
And the characters too. I think almost all of the characters are excellent.
Yeah, for sure. They're all very good versions of character archetypes from Mafia movies of old. I think this would have done a lot better for me if it was more of a Telltale game. Like
it almost is.
It almost is. Without those other segments that are kind of shoehorned in there. It almost kind of is. Like if there was like a little more agency in how I was going about things, I think it would succeed there. Like a little bit of choice. Or if they did go whole hog, fully open world video game, I think that could have succeeded. I think it could have succeeded there as well if some of those other systems had a little more polish.
That's the problem. Is like I think this game would have been well served by being an actual open world game. I think the story fits very well into that type of framework.
There are gaps.
There are big gaps, right, in the story. However, the gameplay as it exists would not hold up. It already doesn't hold up. It would not hold up over a 20, 30, 40-hour experience. There's no way.
Yeah.
So they would have needed to completely retool the combat in order to make it a good open world. But I think the story would have fit that. The one thing I think, because we talked about this after we were playing it, and all of us definitely agreed that this feels very, very obviously like a game that was supposed to be an open world that had to get stripped out for whatever reason.
Right.
But listening to a bunch of people talk about this game that are more familiar with the Mafia games and how similar this is to previous Mafia games makes me wonder if it ever was actually supposed to be an open world game or if this is just how they make their stuff. I feel like the car customization and the weapons, like the way that stuff is structured, and the fact that there are like collectibles that are out in the open world that you would never find unless you load it up in the chapter select, their open world mode.
Yeah.
That is the evidence to me that there was some kind of open world structure to this. Because otherwise it seems like this is just what the Mafia games are like, which is crazy to me.
Well,
that they continue to make them like this.
I have Mafia 3 on the Xbox One, but I've never played it. I should load that up and check it out at some point.
I think I have Mafia 1, like the remaster. It was like PlayStation Plus or something.
Oh, sure.
I have one, but I've never been interested in trying to check it out. And honestly, hearing that they're like this does not make me interested in checking it out.
I just want to find out if that's true. But yeah. Well, and they are adding that weird open world mode to this game in a future update.
But there's nothing to do.
Yeah, I guess they're gonna add a few things to do, but like why? Why?
Yeah,
I have a note here about the two races. There's a horse race and there's a car race in the game, and both of them are so heavily scripted to make sure you win. Like I was dog shit at that car race, man.
Really?
Yes,
Like it just felt so bad. And then like out of nowhere, the other cars just like break when I'm getting to the end, so I can pass them. They're so scripted for you to win and not have to redo.
Well, they're also they're scripted for you to be behind early and then make the comeback. Because like they were the cars were far outstripping me at the beginning. And then around the middle, I ended up just blasting past all of them by taking a couple shortcuts, like through fields and stuff. And then after that, they were nowhere even near me. It was just driving at that point. I was just going for a Sunday afternoon drive.
And the world is gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
And it is very well realized. It feels very much like a sense of place and all of the detail and everything that's in, like there are lots of little towns and villages and stuff where all of that feels super authentic. I mean, I've never been to Sicily, but what you see in movies, right? It feels very authentic to that, but it's all, like I said, it's a facade. There aren't, like when you are out driving in the world, you don't see other cars. You don't see other horses. You don't see other people. If you drive in between a mission to the city, there's no one there. There's nothing happening. And it's because they didn't make it that way. Like you're
to
not
the point where you
supposed
can
to
just
go
skip the drive.
You
like,
can
there's
skip
a button
the
to
drive.
just skip the drive.
Yeah, if they're
Which
not
is
talking
even
about
crazier.
something critical, you can skip it. Yeah.
Like then why is it there? Like it's baffling to me that if this is what they intended to make. It is equally baffling if this was not what they intended to make and they ended up here.
Yeah.
Like it's so if this was supposed to be an open world game, there's so much that has been stripped out and so much that was not stripped out needlessly. Like why can I pick different colors on a vehicle?
Yeah.
When I never get to choose to drive that vehicle.
Right.
It's useless.
Yeah.
It's like they needed to keep something there for you to spend your money on. But then why is the money even in the game?
Right.
Because it's useless.
Yeah.
But they needed to have something for you to loot on the bad guys.
But then why even loot the bad guys?
Right. But
like,
that's
you
what
could
I'm
just
saying.
go.
Like each thing is dependent on something else to the point where like if they remove that one thing, they're then removing 20 other things to the point where the game is even more bare bones than it already is. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, would I have liked this more if it was just like a TV show?
I think
And theoretically, maybe. But then also, I feel like it would only highlight how boilerplate the story actually is.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of you said this, that it feels like a Netflix Mafia story. Or maybe it might have been on the Besties podcast because they talked about this game in one of their episodes. But that really resonated with me because it does this. It feels like a mid-tier Mafia story, but it feels better than that because it's in a video game. And video games still often don't have good stories. So like my expectations were lower.
Yeah. And there's like the part where it's technically impressive and all that stuff. Like the facial animation, motion capture, lighting, and all that other stuff looks really nice. That elevates it a bit over just another one of those, averagely shot Netflix shows.
Yeah. I will say I was more a defender of this game until I beat it because I feel like the ending really
it was rough.
farts its way over the finish line.
It was rough.
And it's extremely unjustified and poorly explained on the motivation side.
Yep.
Right.
And it felt very narratively unsatisfying. Like there's a way to do those plot points very well.
Yeah. But
they did not.
Like the character, I didn't think the character was gonna.
No, because there's no reason
because
to.
I was like, it seems like they're turning against this tradition of this being the way it is. And then they don't. And I was like, okay, why did I play this game? What was it all for? If the people who remain or whatever, people who were part of it who remain, haven't changed. You know what I mean? But I guess they can't really because it's the Mafia origin. So that.
But it's still a single person, though.
Yes, yeah.
And I think, the family's made up. It's not like based on real characters, I don't think.
No, but I wonder if it's... I assume it's part of the Mafia games fictional
sure.
lineage.
I don't think... Oh, sure. But I don't think any of the characters in this are characters in...
I think there actually
they
is.
They might be mentioned and stuff. I don't know.
I think there is a character. I don't know which one, but I think there is a character in this game because I saw somewhere online someone said that this character is at least referenced in a different game.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So there might be... They maybe, couldn't figure out a good way past that or a good excuse to go against tradition in that way or whatever. I don't know. But, yeah. And
there's a better way to have done
ending.
it.
There's still a better way.
Not a satisfying ending. For sure. I thought the very end, after the thing happens and then you do another thing, the very end ended on a nicer, more hopeful note, but still kind of fucked. Still pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Google is saying there are several characters.
Okay.
So Leo, the son, the blonde guy,
right,
and then a couple other side characters are in other games.
Okay.
But yeah, it doesn't matter. They could have ended it a different way, or built to that ending in a different way.
Yeah,
it's such a weird game.
It's weird.
I was the first session playing, 2-3 hours, whatever, even after that, I was like, what is this? Why is it like this?
Right.
I couldn't believe it, and I still can't, but I finished it.
I still liked it, kind of.
Yeah. No, you know what? No, I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't.
Fine.
I didn't like it, but I got stuff out of it. The ending really left a bad taste.
Yeah.
Had it ended better, I think I would be in a better spot with it, because it's all story, and if your thing is all story and the story falters at the end, that's a pretty big
One
pill to
thing,
swallow.
my last comment that we've not discussed here, or note that I had here, I like when games have large passages of time and the character looks different.
Yeah.
I like that. I like, it's not just like they come back and it's the exact same model like 2 years later. I like when you can see aging of characters over a large period of time. I think that's a cool thing in games that doesn't happen that often.
And this one, so the main guy, when
do you feel like this one did that?
Yeah.
At least with the main character.
The main character, in the beginning, he's like super emaciated because he's
Yes.
working as an injured. Yeah. And then the passage of time to where like he's getting his hair back over a couple different stages, and like he's getting more built out physically and like filling out because he's like getting regular food and shit. I thought they did that part well.
In the beginning, I definitely noticed that, and then in the final chapter, because it skips a couple of years, he's got like a little stubble.
Sure.
And that's the only other big thing that I noticed.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because there are different hairstyles and facial hair and hats and outfits that you can purchase but not use unless you uncheck the story mode setting.
Right.
That like made me feel like my character isn't looking different as much as I would want him to.
Yeah. Weird game.
What a weird fucking game, man.
Yeah, it is.
I would say no one should spend $50 on that game. That would be my advice. I don't think that game is worth $50.
I have paid $70 for a game and gotten far less out of it. But
that's fine, but that doesn't mean you should have done that.
Other people have different. I'm not going to not recommend it. If it was $70, I would not recommend it. But it is $50, which is less than $70. So I would recommend it with all the caveats that we just talked about.
I would recommend it
if you think you can
in
look
a
past
year or
those.
two when it's on a deeper sale. I think it's worth playing if you think you can look past the gameplay deficiencies. But I think spending that amount of money on it just is not worth the value proposition, in my opinion.
I'm sure it's already on sale.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You're probably right. A game that I think is worth the money is Sword of the Sea. Cody, you've been playing Sword of the Sea. Did you finish it also?
I did, yep.
Okay, yes, I finished it in like 2 sittings, and I was a little bit annoyed because I had started it. I needed a game for myself. I've been having a rough go from a life side perspective, and I really wanted a game like this, and I was vibing, and then my kids walked in, and they love watching me play games, which I love, but I wanted this to be my game.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say no, and so I played for a little bit with them, and they are asking questions every 5 seconds. Who is that? What does that do? Why are they saying that? And I'm just like, I'm trying to vibe out. So then a couple days later, I came back to it by myself when the kids were playing downstairs, and I played for like an hour, and then I hear boop, 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 boop coming up the stairs, and here are my kids. And then they get mad at me because I was playing it without them, so I just finished it with them. And I had a great time, don't get me wrong, but I wanted this to be for me. What did you think, Cody? Have you played you played previous
I've only
Giant
played
Squid
Journey.
games?
I've only played Journey.
Okay.
No,
You should check out Abzu.
Okay, I will.
Abzu's a good one.
I thought this was great. I really did. I had a really good time with it. Man, it's pretty. It's real nice to look at, and just to get lost in that. The haptic feedback of surfing on the sand feels really good. It feels very good to play overall. I mean, like the jumping and the traversal and everything, I thought felt really good. The story, if you will, of it, I guess, is didn't really do much for me as much as I felt like Journey had a bigger impact on me as, you know, the only other point of comparison I have.
Yeah. Well, Journey is very much like, it's you feel an authorship over the experience because they introduce you to another person playing, so it becomes a little bit more like about your journey, not necessarily the journey of this character. And I didn't really necessarily...
I think it's both.
Sure. But like it's easier to inhabit the character in Journey, because it feels like it's more about that. Whereas Sword in the Sea, when I was just watching, is it Sword of the Sea or Sword and the Sea?
Sword of the Sea.
Okay. I guess I just didn't get the same vibe from Sword of the Sea when I was watching Cody play some.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
The Giant Squid games always have more of like an abstract narrative. Journey, I think, is even more of an abstract narrative than the Giant Squid games have been. To your point, Kyle, I think that creates more of that like ownership that the player has over the characters.
Yeah, because more of your
journey,
interpretation about what's happening.
Sure. Yeah. And I would say there is essentially a plot in that you have an objective that you accomplish throughout the game. But I mean, there's no spoken dialogue. I mean, if anyone's played a Giant Squid game, it'll feel very, very familiar, both in terms of style, music, and sort of the narrative structure. In that, like, you're put in a spot, you have an objective, you do the thing, and you do that like 3 times, and then the ending of the game happens. But yeah, I think the way that I would describe it is Journey to me was sort of the highest peak of this kind of game for me. Abzu, Giant Squid's first game, it's still one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. It's all really underwater, pretty. And it's about exploring just the color, and it dives into a lot of, no pun intended, dives into a lot of like ancient technology and cultures that are made up in the game, but they're all very, very beautiful. And it had a lot more of a calming sense in its gameplay because you're just swimming. The Pathless felt like a huge leap forward for them in terms of creating legitimate gameplay systems. It had a great sense of speed where you're this archer who shoots these like floating icons which give you a speed boost. And so you kind of just get into this flow state, and that's what a lot of the boss battles are, is of you like chasing these giant creatures through that sort of mechanic. And I say all of that to say that Sword of the Sea really feels like a culmination of all of those things together. I think that this game plays the best of all of their games in terms of the actual movement and integrating that movement into exploration. Because the Pathless felt great to like vibe, but when it came to actually exploring, it could feel a little tedious or imprecise, and like the actual platforming could feel a little imprecise. This game, because you're essentially skateboarding / surfing, it's very smooth and floaty. And that I really, really liked. I think the trick system is a great addition. Like, it's good to have that. I think you want to do that, right? Like, if it wasn't there, it would feel a little boring, and you'd go off of a jump and be like, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
But I also wish there was
a toy almost.
Yeah. But I do wish they had integrated that a little bit more into it. Like, I don't know. I don't want like scores
or
to
anything
pop up
when you do them, or
no.
They should patch that in.
The only integration, I guess, would be the like score trials that are throughout the levels.
Oh, there are score trials,
and there is a trophy for getting a certain score.
Okay.
At the end of the game, total score.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are certain sections where like they'll put you in a half pipe and you have to sort of build momentum to jump up on top of something. Like, there are times when you need to build momentum or use your jump and your double jump at the right time. Later in the game, you unlock sort of I would call like a sky surfing, where you kind of like create this trail of water that you surf on in the air in order to platform. So that stuff they definitely do. But like the tricks, there's never really a reason to do tricks, I guess is what I'm saying, other than just fun, which I'm sure was their intent, and that's totally fine. But as a video game, I think maybe I wanted a little more video game-ness out of that particular mechanic. How did you feel coming out of it, Cody? Did you feel like, I know you said the story didn't really do a lot for you, but did it feel like it was the right length? Did it feel satisfying? Like, did you feel like there were things missing?
Was it 30, 40?
I think it's $30.
Okay. That is, yeah, it's 30. That is an adequate price for that game. It is fairly short. I mean,
it's short.
And like I explored a lot, and there is a surprising amount of depth and hidden things in the world, in the levels, which I was surprised by. But if you just focus on the objective, you could beat that game in like probably an hour and a half, maybe an hour. So I mean, it is quite short.
The exploration stuff you mentioned, is that like, are there like collectibles there, or is it like new areas where you're like learning a little bit more about the lore of the world and stuff? Both.
So okay. there are steels, STELE, whatever that word is.
Yeah,
like
stele, I think.
Plaques around the world that do have text. It's the only text in the game that just sort of teach you the lore of the world that you can find. They're usually sort of off the beaten path. Some of them are pretty obvious to see. And then there are also like Nautilus shells, are sort of like the hidden secret collectible, if you will.
Okay. But you don't do anything with those, right?
No, they're purely just to collect.
Yeah, like I was disappointed in that. I think so.
Yeah. If you get them all, you get a trophy.
Okay.
But
and
also
there are a bunch of like the coins or whatever that you're collecting that you turn into this trader who gives you new moves.
Yeah, abilities.
Okay.
Moves. But like sort of what you do sort of as the core mission, you're restoring water or like aquatic life to this place that has been, turned barren and, sandy and deserted and everything. So you do that by typically in the form of lighting up lanterns. There's like big groups of lanterns everywhere that once you light them all up just by running through them, it turns that sort of area into it restores the aquatic life there. There's a lot of those that you do.
That effect is gorgeous. It's very cool.
It looks very nice. There's a lot of those on the main path, but there's also some of those that like you don't even have to do that you can do. So like in the first level, there's like a cave where you can restore that cave, and it's this whole big, water area once you do that you don't even have to do. So I mean, there's also those. So there's a good amount of depth, more than I thought there would be in a reason to explore the levels than I figured there would be. So I did like that as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I wanted to go and do that. One, because I just was enjoying the vibe of the game, and it's fun to jump around and do little tricks and stuff. But it was more so like I loved the visuals of freeing all these, like freeing the water and having all the animals, and a lot of times it'll sprout, additional stuff. Right? So like if you sprout the water, it'll open up a new area that you didn't go to before where you can get more coins or whatever. The reward didn't matter so much as it was just nice to do that and live in that. Yeah. I do think structurally, and because I mean, I think it was like 3 hours and 15 minutes, my total runtime. I think they very easily could have added on one more zone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gotten sick of the exploration or the mechanics. And I think it would have added more because it felt very short. Like that would be my largest criticism is it feels very short.
Yeah. And the replay value, I feel like, isn't super there
unless you're trying to do a high score thing. Yeah. Or find all the Nautilus shells or because there is New Game Plus, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, I mean, these are Shay kind of games. This is a game. It's probably going to be in my top 5 at the end of the year. Like this is super my vibe, and I'm happy to continue getting these as long as they want to continue making them. I also think the music is incredible. It's Austin Wintory, who's done all of Giant Squid stuff. He did Journey, Banner Saga, a bunch of other classics. I think this one's got a lot of good. Again, it's a good amalgamation of the desert, ancient history combined with the like flowy water stuff that he had done in Abzu. So yeah, I don't know where they go from here, because I feel like there was a very clear building point to this game, and so I don't know what they would want to do next that won't feel repetitive maybe. But yeah, Sword of the Sea, I liked it.
Yeah,
Cool.
Pretty good.
And Cody, you've been playing Is This Seat Taken? I played the
sure
Steam
have.
Next Fest demo a long time ago.
Yeah. This is for those who aren't aware, this is a puzzle game. You got a lot of geometric shapes who all are convening in some sort of either vehicle or venue of some sort. So like, for instance, the first level is on a bus. There's an empty bus. You maybe got 6 to 8 of these little shapes, and they all have it's a logic puzzle. They all have their own wants and needs, and you have to place them specifically in the place in the seats to where they're all satisfied, move on to the next level, so on and so forth. I am surprised at how much it builds on that. I really thought it would just sort of be that for a lot of levels.
Yeah.
But I mean, it gets to the point of there's one level where it's a wedding, and it's as specific as, I want to be on the table that is serving this dish, or I don't want to be next to a child. There's a later vehicle level that they have backpacks with them. So like, you have to then account for, they need to have the seat next to them will be taken up by their backpack. So there's a lot of it builds on itself in, I think, clever ways. I think the humor,
the writing's
it's got some
fun.
funny jokes. The writing's a lot of fun. It's a great one of those. It really is kind of just that, but it's presented in a really nice way, and there's a lot of game there. I mean, again, a surprising amount of game. I've still not beaten it yet.
I played like the first few, because it's separated into like these screens of levels, sort of like a Super Mario World screen, or going dot to dot. And I played like the first 3 screens of it, I think. I don't know how many there are, but yeah. So, and I thought it was really fun. I ended up, I was 100%ing each one, and I played until I couldn't 100% one on the first try, and I was like, that didn't feel very good. I had such a good track record. And then I stopped playing just because I had other stuff I wanted to play, but I should go back.
It's only $10, and I feel like, again, talking about value here, like that's a great bang for your buck.
Yeah. It's no welcome tour. Nintendo Switch 2 welcome tour.
That's true. That's true.
For $10,
But yeah, it's a good game. I recommend it.
I might have to go back to that. I did really like the demo, and I was curious if it continued to build from what I played in the demo. Totally. But it sounds like, because I think at the end of the demo, the last screen was on a bus where like some people took up to multiple seats. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting wrinkle. So I was curious if there was more beyond that too.
There's like a movie theater where there could be dirty seats, like have popcorn on them. Some people don't want to sit in the dirty seats. Like there's another one that's like,
some people wear hats, so you can't put them behind.
No one wants to sit behind someone with a hat because they can't see. Yeah, and there's another sports game where like some people are fans of one team and fans of another team, and they don't. If you put too many fans of one team together, they get really loud, and so you want to kind of like. You can't have the people who don't want it to be loud near them, and so you gotta spread them out, and they don't want to be near people who like the other team, so you gotta like, it's
sports fans, man.
Dude, tell me about
divas. It. Yeah. Well, that's cool. That sounds fun. I'm gonna have to go back to that. I also played a demo for Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. I had been having my eyes on this one because it was pitched as sort of a Skyrim-like. A AA Skyrim with more of a, we say in sneer quotes, dark fantasy. That feels like that's the thing now. Everything's fucking dark fantasy thanks to Dark Souls. But more of a dark fantasy spin on Skyrim. But it has that, first person open RPG. You even start in a prison cell and are broken out and are given magic spells and all that business.
Hell yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a book series that this is based on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't remember. Tainted Grail.
So I've had my eye on this one as well. I just like
Tainted Grail: The Fall of Readables. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the basic setup is it's like Arthurian legend where King Arthur Pendragon. And so it uses those figures, but in a fantasy world where like King Arthur is this giant of a man. He's basically a god who has like the power to save humanity. And then there's this potentially evil force. I didn't get far enough to really know one way or the other, but they call it the Weirdness, Wyrd. And just calling it the Weirdness, I don't know. That's lame to me.
Is that how they pronounced it?
Weirdness, yes. Yeah, and I know
not how
it's a
you
nitpick,
would pronounce
but
it.
it's really lame. And so hearing these very serious characters talk about weirdness, just was like, ugh. It felt like young adult shit.
Uther Pendragon and his weirdness.
Yeah. And like it's Camelot but with a K. So it's like it's that kind of I know. It's that kind of approach. And I don't want to say
adult
anything
novel style
super negative about
magic
like
parkour,
the story, or because I don't know. Like I only played a demo that was like 2 hours long. But the biggest issue that I had was just the tone and visual style. Because it's dark fantasy, everything is extremely gothic and dark and black and metal. And that stuff is mostly fine, but it also was extremely like Diablo, Scorn, blood, and everything is blood and guts everywhere.
Okay.
And I just find it very off-putting. Like, Scorn was a fucking terrible game because of its gameplay, but its visual design was so interesting and unique and very cool in its own sort of style. Diablo, I think, is a super cool looking game because of its sort of unique, authentic style that it has going for it, and its serious tone, but it's sort of cartoony in the way that it looks. Something about this I just found, it just made me feel icky. Like, it made me nauseous to be in that world.
Okay.
And I just found it extremely unappealing. Everyone's mileage may vary. Plenty of people, I'm sure, are super into that. But it was, like, immediately a turnoff for me. I think if it wasn't for that thing, this would be an extremely mediocre Skyrim clone. Which would probably be enough for me to have a good time with it.
Sure.
Honestly. Like, the combat does not feel good at all, but there is a dodge, and so that helps a lot. Skyrim's combat did not feel good at all, and there wasn't a dodge. So just the ability to dodge is a huge step up for this combat, but it doesn't feel good. The magic is extremely weak. But, like, the story, I think, is relatively interesting. The setup of the story, at least, where you're trying to figure out what the fuck this weirdness is.
Okay.
And King Arthur sort of... There's some sort of villainous demon guy that's trying to resurrect King Arthur. You are rescued by this other dude, Caradoc, or something along those lines.
Caradoc of Camelot.
Like,
Caradoc.
Yeah, he's like, hey, King Arthur is being resurrected. We don't want that to happen because every couple hundred years he gets resurrected. He goes on this bender where he like destroys the entire world. He destroys
the cosmos, and then he's got to get his son, the prince, to roll up all the shit around the world.
Exactly right.
Create a new cosmos.
It's a prequel to Katamari Damacy. But yeah, I think the setup of the story is intriguing. It's mostly the aesthetic that I found really off-putting, and there wasn't enough else there to like make me want to overcome that. Like Diablo, I think the loop of the gameplay is extremely addictive, and it's a great zone-out kind of passive gameplay experience that isn't this. And so I was like, no thanks. And that was a bummer because I really wanted to find a game like Skyrim that I could get into.
Sure.
Without the complexity of something like Kingdom Come Deliverance too.
Yeah, that's
that game's
fair.
got some systems. This is much more straightforward. But like I said, your mileage may vary with the sort of aesthetic. If you're into that, you may find something to like here. But no, it's very much a AA style game. It's pretty buggy. Visually, a lot of visual glitches, floating rocks, weird geometry. It looks like a PS3 game. But for a lot of people, they don't care. So
sure.
Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. We're running out of names for things.
Clearly.
Speaking of gothic-ass video games, Kyle, you decided to replay The Darkness 1 and 2.
Both of these.
Both Darkness.
Yes.
Double Darkness.
Yeah, And the timing on this is funny because NoClip just released part 1 of their documentary on Machine Games, and a lot of the founding members of Machine Games were all, I believe, founding members of Starbreeze, which made the Darkness games.
Oh yes, I did know that.
And like
yes.
Chronicles of Riddick, Butcher Bay, and Athena, they did those, and so it was fun. I just watched that part 1 documentary today after having played the Darkness 1 and 2, and was like, oh, the timing on this is real fun. But yeah, they're very different games. The first Darkness, it's first-person shooter. For those who don't know, first-person shooter where you play as the Crow. I'm just kidding. You play as Italian goth mob man who is voiced by one of the Italian dudes from Band of Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in the second game, only in the first game. In the second game, he's voiced by the dude who ends up voicing Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein, which makes sense.
Funny.
So you play as Jackie. He's got a girlfriend, Jenny, who's like kind of punk rock and hot. And you have a chance to sit on a couch and watch literally all of the entire film To Kill a Mockingbird with her in black and white. If people remember that being a thing. I had forgotten about that. And then the scene happened. I was like, wait, this is the game that does this. But structurally, it's interesting. So Jackie, turns out he's got that demon in him, you know what I mean? And it manifests in these 2 tentacle creatures that are kind of autonomous that you can sometimes control to do shit, sometimes control you. First-person shooter, light is a big factor. So in the light, you cannot summon the darkness, so you want to be destroying lights or hiding out in the shadows. That plays a big component in the combat and your use of abilities to solve environmental puzzles and combat puzzles and stuff. Structurally, it's very interesting because it's a series of open zones that are all connected via some loading screen stuff, but like by the subway system of the city, and you kind of have to pay attention a little bit. Like, you can open your objective screen and it'll give you hints on where to go, but like the map is not helpful on a micro level. It's helpful on a macro level. You can see where all the zones are in their relation to each other. But like within each environment, like you have to be looking around for a map of the streets to like see what the street names are. And your objective is just like, oh yeah, the house on the other side of this street across from the restaurant.
There's no objective markers.
No objective markers. So like there's this added layer of like immersion in the world where you're looking at the signs around you, the actual like street signage and stuff on the walls and maps and stuff that I really liked, because it was very interesting and kind of compelling, and I didn't remember anything about that having played it before. And I found that to be super cool. I think some of the writing's pretty clumsy. It doesn't look very good. It doesn't play very well. It's early-ish PS3 first-person shooter from the studio who was still very much trying to figure that stuff out. But because of that, you get these other interesting systems, like the structure of it and stuff. Darkness 2 picks up where Darkness 1 left off, but it has a completely different art style. It's like cel-shaded, very cartoony looking.
A little Borderlandsy.
Yeah, a little Borderlandsy.
1.
Yeah, a little Borderlandsy. It plays way better. Like all of the they totally remapped all the controls. The tentacle stuff is way easier to use in combat. There's like a skill tree that you're speccing into with your kills. Where there was like a loose upgrade thing in the first game, but this is like you're getting souls by killing enemies and spending those at upgrade points throughout the game. It's also completely linear. There is no open zone searching around. There are objective markers. They really kind of dumb down the structure of the game in favor of creating a more focused action game experience, which I think is... I wish I could have had 2's combat in 1's structure. That would have been a really interesting marriage for me. I would have liked that a lot. I also didn't like the story as much in the second one. It became even more fantastical. I think the art style lent itself to that a little bit more as well, but like you go to hell, or a version of hell in the first game, so it is very fantastical, but it's more like, I guess it's less hard It's not sci-fi. It's less like hard goth and a little more like pulpy goth in the second
God,
one.
I love hard goth.
Is there any other kind?
That's fair. Greasy goth. So I'm happy that I played both of them. There were a couple of choices in the second game which I thought was interesting, which kind of changed a couple things on my playthrough. I could have ended the game early a couple times, I think, but I wound up playing all the way through. And then it sets up a third game, which is never gonna fucking happen. Not even close. But I was very happy to go play through those. It's a good reminder of, where, because you can see the beginnings of some philosophies on storytelling and player experience in those games that I do genuinely think carry over into some of the Machine Games titles. Like giving players open areas to explore and not being as prescriptive with objectives in some ways. And it's because the second Wolfenstein game does that. Increasing options in combat and making you feel powerful as a player. I think Wolfenstein does that a lot as well. There are a lot of moments in Wolfenstein where like the Nazis fear BJ Blazkowicz, and the darkness is all about that. Like you're just murking dudes, and they'll start screaming and running from you, and that is like a fun, powerful feeling. It's like it's fun to like kind of go back to where they started, so to speak, with their first person titles and see some of those influences projected further into the future. So it was cool. I would actually recommend people play them again. I think they're backwards compatible on Xbox, because I saw a long play of it that looked way better than on my PlayStation 3. And I think it said it was playing on like an Xbox One through back compat. So maybe play the Xbox versions if you can find them.
Yeah, I liked the first game. It was odd. It was a weird game, but I liked it. The second one, I bounced off pretty early. Maybe I don't know. I think there were like 5 years in between those games. The second one was made by a different studio. Yeah. So I wonder what the story is with that. Well, cool. Let's talk an old game made new. Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is. This is your time.
Yes. The other day, I was going through my release calendar, and I happened to realize that this was the week that Metal Gear Solid came out, and so I went to go ahead and pre-order it, and I saw that, there's a deluxe edition for like $20 more that I get 48 hours early access, so I went ahead and did that. So I got it on Tuesday, and I've been playing. I'm not super far in. There's Kyle's version.
Not the deluxe.
Man, this game is so good.
It's pretty. It's really pretty
looks
too.
Really nice. That damn UE5.
Yeah.
While it has its problems, man, that engine looks real nice.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's just that intro with the song is still so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
This is only my second time ever playing this game.
Okay.
I've seen it played a lot. But this is my first time revisiting.
It is a 1-to-1 remake.
Yes.
Like they reuse the animation rig stuff. Like all of it is, even in cutscenes, it's all 1-to-1. Then they have like some. I don't. Have you noticed any like quality of life stuff, Cody?
For sure. I don't believe it was this way. I don't remember, but the to do calls, you don't have to memorize the numbers.
You could store numbers. Yeah. Before.
Okay. Well, I think the UI for this is much different. I don't remember.
You used to like basically
for
pause the game and hit select, and it would pull up a full screen thing.
Oh, this isn't anything like that. No, this is different then. I will say they have. I saw some feature of it on online, but they did update the facial captures. So Snake does have a new facial animation motion capture rig to him. And then there is a line, at least one, the only one I've discovered so far. There is a line, because every time you go to save the game, you talk to paramedic, and she tells you about a movie that she's watched. There was a line about Godzilla that talked about, the 20th or 50th anniversary is in 2024. Are people even going to still be watching movies by then or care about Godzilla? She made some comment about that I don't think was in the original one.
No,
I think just as a callback to, yeah. So, I mean, there are little things like that, but largely it is, a 1-to-1 remake, and man, it's good.
How do they do the camo system in this one? Because you used to have to pull up a whole menu.
So you can still do it that way. Okay. You can also hold up on the D-pad, and then it brings up like a mini screen that you can just swap your camo.
Oh, like in real time?
Yes. You can just swap it.
That's
the same thing with the codec calls. So when you hold, I think it's down, it brings up a small window that you can use the right stick to navigate which person you want to talk to.
That's nice, man. That's nice.
Yeah. I am playing this. I do want to get the platinum trophy in this, so I am playing this with like a collectible guide. I was going through it.
It's gonna be tough. European Extreme is gonna be a real bitch.
I don't have to do European Extreme. I just got to do
Extreme,
which is still difficult. But
it's no alerts.
The game, if you know what you're doing and you go objective to objective, the video I'm going to use for that is only like just over 2 hours. So like if you know what you're doing, like you can just get right through it.
Yeah, you can blast through the game for sure.
But yeah, it's good. And I know I tried to sell you on Death Stranding 2, Shay, but now that I'm like, maybe Metal Gear is the better option here. It is despite it still having its Kojima isms, it is far more grounded than Death Stranding is.
Yeah,
I've played some MGS3. I've played some of 1 and 3, and I really liked the camo stuff in 3, but it's the story. The story is where I lose it. I just think it's so dumb.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
You're allowed to like it. I don't blame you for liking it, Kyle.
No,
Kyle's over there shaking his head.
No, it's fine. It's only like the greatest soldier the world has ever seen, and her protege is sent to kill her because they've labeled her a traitor. It's only like one of the greatest stories ever told. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to go that far. But it is a very good story.
Yeah, it's good. As part of the way I'm playing this first run is where I'm gonna get all the collectibles. I got to eat all the food. I got to hunt all the animals. So I'm playing on very easy, and with that, you get a trank gun with infinite ammo. So I'm also pairing this run with no kills. So I'm just tranking all the enemies. So I'm not actually killing them, but
you have to do that to the bosses too.
Metal Gear Solid also has a system where you can non-lethally take down all of the bosses. So I have to do that as well, because when you do that, you get a camouflage from them, and I have to collect all the camouflages. So, yeah, it's real good so far. I'm probably like, I don't know, 3 hours in so far, and having a good time.
Nice.
I'm glad it exists. I'm glad that they did the work, and it seems like they did a good job.
I want more. I want them to follow this up with MGS1.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know why they wouldn't have started there. I don't wonder if there's some contracting things.
This is a prequel. I mean, this is where it all started.
And this is like 4 is a whole other monster in terms of trying to remake that one. This is like the closest to making a 1-to-1 without having to make any changes.
Right, because the first 2 were PlayStation 1 games. Is that true? And
just the first one.
Just the first one.
Okay.
MGS2, it does not have the depth of systems that MGS3 has, so it wouldn't feel as feature complete.
MGS3 is far more beloved than MGS2. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, that's also why. But also, it is canonically the first one.
Yeah.
So I mean, that
makes sense.
Makes sense, yeah.
Well, sweet. Metal Gear Solid. We're always fucking talking about Kojima on here.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
Kyle, how about Parasite Eve 2? You talked about Parasite Eve 1 2 months ago. And now you're back for more.
I'm back, baby. Couldn't keep me away. I did play all of Parasite Eve 2 this month. I completed the video game. I did not like it as much as the first one. So the first Parasite Eve, I talked about, like, the combat is a little slow. It's very much like pick your moment, and then you basically pause the game and choose your target and your action, whether it's going to be a spell or shooting a gun or reloading, whatever it is, and then Io will perform that action once you hit, like, confirm or whatever. 2 is like a full real-time shooting video game. It's still tank controls, fixed camera angles and stuff, but it's like fully real-time, with a couple exceptions. Like if you open a menu to use an item or whatever, it'll pause. Or if you open your spell menu, you can select your spells and do that way. But the actual combat, you are choosing when to shoot, when to reload. It has a couple interesting inventory systems where, like, you have armor that has different number of attachments, and those are the only things you have access to when you're fighting. So you only have access to all your items when you're outside of combat, but in combat, you have to choose what you're bringing with you. There are a bunch of guns. You're not, like, upgrading stuff like you were in the first game. In 2, you're only really upgrading your spells and then, like, just getting access to more powerful guns as the game goes on. It's much more of an action game. It's less of a tone piece like the first one was. I think it also it's the first one, you were actually leveling up and doing all this shit, like some very light RPG systems. This one, the only thing you could call an RPG system would be the fact that you're leveling up your spells or whatever. So I definitely missed some of those aspects. I did not enjoy the real-time combat as much because it was pretty clumsy. It has targeting and stuff, but there are all sorts of statuses that interfere. It just becomes a little bit of like a logistical nightmare, because Aya's so slow and like labored in her movements compared to the enemies. They're very agile, and the fixed camera angles, stuff's like firing at you from off screen, and that stuff can get pretty frustrating. I played with a guide, and so that helped relieve some of the frustration, but because like I knew when certain things were gonna come my way. But yeah, it's weird. Like the first game, I felt like it did go some places, with the main antagonist Eve and like the destruction of the city and stuff. This one feels a lot more like how Resident Evil ramped up it like the ridiculousness of its storytelling up until 7, like all the way through 6. Like it just progressively, like they had to keep one-upping themselves with all these viruses and all this crazy Ouroboros bullshit. The second Parasite Eve very much felt like they were following that same kind of ethos in a way that I didn't really like as much. It led to a lot of like fun, bombastic moments, and all of their background work and their animation work way better in the second one than the first one. And this was Squaresoft, so the makers of fine Final Fantasies. I wish it makes me wish we had gotten one more PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy and one more PlayStation 1 Parasite Eve, because I think they could have really done some impressive tech shit with those, because it felt like those, like the trajectory of Final Fantasy 7 to 8 to 9, what they were doing with the tech there was really impressive, like their pre-rendered background and introducing animation there, and what they were able to get out of the system at that point in time. Same thing here. Parasite Eve 1 to 2, I was really impressed with the leap forward and presentation and stuff. I would have liked to see more, but yeah, I don't know if there's a whole lot more I want to say on Parasite Eve 2. I liked it, but not as much as the first one. Yeah.
Final Fantasy X PS1 demake.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. Like that would kick so much ass.
Wow, how?
Like little polygonal Tidus doing the ha 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 like a hell yeah, dude. No. Auron with like you can't even see his face. It's just a massive.
That's like the worst aspects of 7, 8, and 9 was the polygonal shit.
I love the way they look so much.
No, because it didn't feel like they were leaning into it. It felt like they were trying to make them look better than they could. And so, like, I feel like you can make those games, and maybe a demake would do that. But, like, you need to lean into it more.
Sure.
Yeah. Final Fantasy VII, that game's hard to look at, in my opinion.
7 looks awful. 8 and 9 are gorgeous.
That's fair.
Like Parasite Eve 1 and 2, they are incredible looking video games. 2 especially, like the quality in Aya's character model from 1 to 2 is crazy. Like, they're doing so much more. It's really, really impressive.
It's cool.
Yeah. It was cool. Very different than 1, but still cool.
Well, all right. Next is the game I mentioned at the top that, like, is probably my game of the year, which is weird. I played The Altars this month. This came out back in June, and it's just been sitting in my backlog, and I had time, and I was like, let me go for it. This is not really my kind of game. It's a management sim game. There is some exploration, but you're mostly exploring to find minerals to then hook up to your station so that you can management sim it up.
Right.
But what's really hooking me is, like, the world and the characters, because the conceit is that you have crash landed on a planet, you work for this big corporation, and you're trying to find, I don't even remember what it's called now, effectively unobtainium from the Avatar movies. It's just like cure-all new element in space. And you've crash landed, you're the only survivor, and so you have this big rolling space station, and you're tasked with collecting all this shit, but you can't do it by yourself. And so you can use this mineral to create clones of yourself. And so you're creating a party of your clones. And each clone has a different specialization. They're all very archetypal. Each clone has a personality that is also very archetypal to what you would assume their personality would be based upon their job. Like, there's a research scientist. Do you think he's sort of a condescending nerd? You're right. There's a, like, builder guy. Or I guess you're a builder, but there's a miner who's like a gruff drug addict alcoholic. Shocker. There is the refiner guy who hangs out in the basement, and he's very much like a laid-back surfer guy. Because shocker. Like, none of that is... It's not surprising, but I do think it's very well done. And the voice actor who voices all the characters is good at making the characters feel distinct. It feels like different versions of him without them feeling too similar or too different. It feels right for clones that have different personalities.
Yeah. That sounds like a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was very pleasantly surprised because the main character, his voice acting, I was like, this feels a little bit flat. But then once you meet all of the other characters, it kind of justifies that because he's sort of the template and everybody else is a lot more kooky and extreme in their personalities. I do think the exploration part is the least interesting part of the game. Like, I would much rather just be in my hub and, like, you can assign your clones to all different jobs. They all have their specialization, but any of them can do any task. So if you're really behind on, like, manufacturing the tools that you need, you can take your miner away from his mining thing and put him on there to crank that stuff out while you go and explore.
Okay.
But I just wish that I could just stay in the ship the whole time and just do it that way and send them out to do the exploration on my behalf. But I get why they do it because it helps break up the monotony of, like, the daily cycle of doing these things. But it has that, like, OCD feel-goodness of being really organized and having everybody in their place. And I know, like, oh, once he finishes this, I'm putting him there. And the game is also smart about breaking that rhythm. We're like, oh, a random electrical storm where now you can't leave your base for 24 hours. How are you going to survive now when they can't go get the minerals or the things that you need for food?
Okay.
And there are different objectives for each zone where, like, the one that I just
eat one of the
left,
clones, bro.
Well, there's mechanics where, like, there's relationshipy stuff. So some of them might get pissed at you, or they might be jealous of another one, or they're not getting along. And I think there's a mechanic where, like, they can die, or they can, like, I don't know if they would quit and leave or how that would work. But I think there is a system where you can fuck up enough to where you lose somebody. Because they can get injured and stuff. You can build an infirmary. But the place that I just left, we were trapped on this, like, lava canyon, so I had to build a bridge over that, And so that like fucked up my rhythm because I had to devote a bunch of time to a specific type of resource. And then my ship was too heavy because I had built it out too much. So I had to like remove one of my modules. And so that part of it is just a really satisfying loop.
Okay.
But like the progression of the narrative is extremely slow so far. Like it's clear that this corporation is shady, but they're not really giving me a lot of detail. I have some faith that it'll get to an interesting place and the hook is there. But yeah, it's like, it's not a chill game because there's a lot of tension that happens,
right.
But it's that kind of game that you kind of like immerse yourself into and just like you lose 4 hours because you're like, just one more day, just one more day, just one more day. And that part of it's pretty satisfying.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
That's the Altars.
Yeah,
I'm surprised by how much I like it.
I should probably play it at some point. I was really
It's
turned
not gonna
off
have
by the
the
early
depth.
demo of it, but
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that. Yeah. The systems aren't going to have the kind of depth that you're used to with your sim style
That's fair.
games, the Factorial or whatever it is, it's called, those style of games. But it's got a much bigger narrative hook than those games do.
right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I mentioned at the top, we all played some Helldivers, which is now available on Xbox. They launched their like exclusive whatever elite tier war bond with a bunch of Halo themed shit. So Cody wanted to dive back into that, and so we were playing. Kyle, you were on the Discord call playing The Darkness 2, ironically. And Kyle was being his usual curmudgeonly self. I'm never playing Helldivers again. I don't care about this game. I'm not touching that. I got my fill. I'm not interested. Then he finished.
Oh, thank you. First off, thank you for giving me that voice because that dude fucks. Secondly,
Himself. His hands.
Secondly, that's fair.
Yeah, I was like, you better not be arguing with what I'm saying, because I'm saying almost verbatim what you put in the Discord chat. But yeah, Kyle finished The Darkness 2. Cody and I were hanging, having a great time, killing bugs. And then all of a sudden, in pops Kyle in this Super Destroyer. And so we all played a little bit of Helldivers, and it was a good fucking time. That game rules.
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
it was fun.
The Halo stuff is very fun. I think the like usability of the new guns and stuff, like the perks on the armor are not that great.
Here's the thing I don't like about Helldivers, though.
Yeah. There are plenty of things, but yes, go ahead.
I almost wish that there were just sort of gun archetypes and that a bunch of different guns fall into those archetypes. Stay with me on this. Mm-hmm. To the point where if I'm spending money on a war bond and I get the Halo assault rifle and it's just like, oh, well, that gun's not very good. And it's just like, then why is it there? Why, if a gun I can get for free is better than this one, why have it? Why would I ever use it? I think like that concept of
it's very valid criticism, in particular for the submachine gun in the Halo thing. It sounds awesome to shoot, and it feels good. Like, it's got good accuracy. The feel of it is good. But it has a silencer, and that's the whole thing. Silencers literally have no gameplay function in Helldivers. There's no mechanic around a silenced gun. If you shoot that gun near an enemy, it now knows where you are. The silencer doesn't do anything. So it's purely aesthetic, which is like a huge miss, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the assault rifle, the fact that it is an assault rifle with medium penetration, armor penetration, there are not many regular ballistic assault rifles that have medium armor penetration. So it does have usability. I think the thing that we struggle with is like the accuracy of it is not that great.
Just the idea that there is, because of the way their weapon system is, there is like, well, why are you using that gun? You should be using this. Like, there is an objectively best gun for a situation that just like to me, it just feels like it devalues anything else. So why would I buy this war bond that doesn't have any guns that are better than the one I'm using?
Right.
And I don't have to buy those war bonds, but just that system is just like, it just feels like there is an objectively best thing to be using. So then it like, why do these other ones even exist?
I will say your perception and experience is your experience, and I'm not going to invalidate that. That's not my experience. Like, there is not an objective correct. There's not an objective best loadout for this game. There used to be, which is why they did their buff patch and buffed like 40 different things 6 months ago or whenever that was. And now, like, I have favorite loadouts, but for each enemy faction, I have like 3 or 4 different loadouts that I would consider all to be extremely optimal.
Okay.
And then I'm at a point as a very experienced player where I can take random shit and have a really good time, even if it's not optimal.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure. I do not think there is a best assault rifle or a best sniper rifle across the board. However, I absolutely agree with the sentiment that you are making, which is there are specific guns that are just garbage, useless all the time, no matter what.
Maybe that's like,
and that sucks. Yeah. Especially when something like the Halo assault rifle, where you can't upgrade it. You can't add attachments to it the way you can most other guns. And it's because it's a tie-in thing. I'm sure licensing wise, they're not allowed to change it, but that doesn't make it then they need to buff it. And that's been the response from the community. I don't know if they'll do that because, again, I don't know if they're like allowed to tweak this stuff. I don't know what that system looks like. But the fact that like the Halo assault rifle is the standard starting assault rifle in Helldivers 2, like the basic version of that, but it has medium armor penetration. So it's much better than that standard one. But you can upgrade the standard one in a way where it has way more ammo, it has way better handling, it has less sway. It's still only light armor penetrating, but it's like you can make the standard one better in a lot of cases than this medium armor penetration one. And so that the balance is not quite there. I will say, like, this did just launch. Arrowhead has not been good at launching new stuff and having it feel good in terms of balance. But they have been good at quickly adapting to that balancing. Sure. So we'll see what they do with the Halo stuff. Maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're going to buy this War Bond, it's for the aesthetics. It's not because 100%. The stuff in there is good.
Right. Yeah.
I will say, though, there's a War Bond coming out the day after this episode goes live on September 2nd, as well as they're launching a brand new campaign with like cave systems and shit. Yeah. And new enemy types with the bugs, which seems really cool. That War Bond looks excellent. The assault rifle they're launching has fire damage, which is one of the most powerful things in the game. So, like, high confidence that assault rifle is going to rule. It's got a napalm rocket launcher, which looks sick. It has, like, a missile silo, which looks sick. So I think, like, the value prop isn't always there on the War Bonds, 100%. Yeah.
Games are pretty fun, though.
I did play 3 more matches last night and another match today.
You don't need to say that with embarrassment, dude.
It's cool. It's a cool game.
I mean, I can't play like during the day like you do, but if it's an evening, just text me, bro. You know I'm gonna go. I'll go play. I play multiple times a week still.
Okay.
Just for like three rounds at a time to get my daily medals or whatever.
Yeah.
So good. It's a good time. I'm hyped for this thing next week. It seems like it's going to really shake up the gameplay because you're in like cave systems. You can't call in stratagems and stuff. So you need to be prepared, and it's dark. So you got to bring a flashlight, and it seems, I'm excited for how it's going to change some of the gameplay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Cody, you're on your platinum hunt.
Oh yeah.
You got a couple more.
I get to talk about Kojima games twice on this podcast, which is pretty incredible. I wrapped up the Death Stranding 2 Platinum. That took a long time, like a really long time. A lot of driving back and forth, planning routes, listening to music, muting the game, just zoning out. I think I was, maybe 120 hours by the end of it. Finally getting that done. It was a lot. That one really took a lot intense. Out of me. And then I followed up by returning because I had started it. I was doing the Kingdom Hearts games. I got through 1, Chain of Memories, and 2, and I had started on Birth by Sleep. I had finished all 3 campaigns. And then some other stuff came out, and I stepped away from it for a while. I returned to that, and I probably put another, 60 total hours, I would say, in that to get that platinum. That game, holy shit, that platinum
That's
fucking
fucked up.
sucks. I was losing my mind by the end of it. It's not.
We gotta walk everyone through your spreadsheets, bro.
Oh, I have so many spreadsheets made to just track all the shit that you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because you have to do all the shit on all three characters. So you have to make
characters.
So the game, it's structured, the combat structured. You have commands that you equip, which is like a list of I think 8 total commands. It's like your non-attack attacks, just your non-X attack. So it's your fire dash, it's your thunder, it's your blizzard, it's your blizzaga, your fireaga, it's your cure. Anything that's not just a general attack is a command. So on all the characters, you have to acquire every one of the available commands for all 3 of the characters. And for every character, there's, I don't know, maybe like 200 commands, maybe around there. I think that's what my spreadsheet was, 200 commands. So a total of 600 commands I had to get. You get those by combining other commands. And so I would just grind those out. I had to beat all the bosses on all 3 characters. The final boss is really tough. Like really, really tough. Man, it fucking sucked. I really was losing my mind by the end of it. It was like to the point where I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to do another platinum game, especially coming right off of Death Stranding, which was another 120 hours.
Yeah.
I was just like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do it. But then, I just jumped right back into Metal Gear Solid Delta, and I'm going to get that platinum. But that one should be fun and shouldn't take a million years. But yeah, I just wanted to give that update. I got those plats.
Was it worth it? Death Stranding sounds like yes. Was Birth by Sleep worth it?
It will be when I have them all.
Yeah.
Not yet. So the only ones I have left are Dream Drop Distance, which is the 3DS game, which I've never played. So that might be fun just because it's a new experience for me. And then the only other Kingdom Hearts Platinum that there is, aside from 3, which I already have, is Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which is a rhythm action game.
Yeah.
So,
That face is the correct face, Shay. Yes.
once I have all of them, it'll feel pretty good, and then I'll never play Kingdom Hearts ever again.
That's the saddest part to me. Is like you've made yourself. I mean, a lot of these games are not very good. 1 and 2 are the only good ones, mainly 1. But you have done to yourself. What you have done to yourself is ensure that you will never find joy in them ever again.
Yeah, but they did that to me. They made the platinum list.
Yeah.
So is it my fault?
It takes 2 to tango, bro.
Sure.
I feel like you'd have to respect it though, because like there have been many platinums that I've gotten that are not that hard to get, and I feel like a platinum trophy should be hard to get. There should at least be 2 to 3 trophies that are really, really hard.
Well,
I'm not a fan of like you have to beat the game 4 different times. Like that, I think is tedious.
Yeah, I think maximum 3 times, but I think 2 is a sweet spot. Require like 2 playthroughs,
or like allow for save scumming. Like I'm thinking, like
totally.
Fallout 4, you needed to get certain different endings, and you can just reload.
Metal Gear lets you do this, right?
Yes. So like if you play through and you miss a collectible, you can go back to a save, get that collectible, and it'll still count. Like that could pop the trophy right then and there. So like
it counts it across all your saves.
Yes, at the highest level is when collectibles are counted.
That's cool.
It should be. That's how it should be.
Yeah. I agree. I will say, just a quick anecdote, wasn't on the agenda. I bought the Gears of War Reloaded game, and I was like, "What?" I mean, it would be fun to have the platinum in Gears of War on like the platinum trophy in Gears of War. That's a funny thing.
This is nuts.
So it's the same achievement list as the Xbox version, just for the original Xbox version, mind you, just for PlayStation. There are multiplayer trophies. There's like 20 multiplayer trophies, which is crazy. One of them is,
and this is not horde mode. This is not horde mode. That didn't come until later Gears. This is competitive Gears.
Yeah.
TDM, King of the Hill game modes. 10,000 kills. 10,000 kills. And boy, I tell you what, I booted into some multiplayer matches. That game feels fucking awful to play. Awful.
How many kills do you get in a match?
Well, I am bad. I am bad. So I was only getting like 2 to 3.
Some people were getting like 20.
Yeah.
But like that's 500 matches?
Where you're doing that well?
Yeah.
So then the crazy thing is like, okay, so like I had crossplay
the
on.
The boost for that, if you're going to boost it to do it, is 50 straight hours estimated. If you're doing like the cheat way.
But that would be like Kyle and I each have 2 controllers hooked up to our PlayStation. We go into the 2v2 competitive mode and hope that we get matched together. And then you can only get like, I think it's like 14 kills within the time limit for that. So then you got to match make back up, find each other again, get another 14 kills. So originally I had crossplay on because like, not a lot of people are playing Gears of War multiplayer.
Right.
But then I was just getting destroyed by people on PC. So then I turned it off. But then I'm having trouble getting anyone in the match.
It takes like a minute to get into a match.
And I have to believe 5 kills in that match. I have to believe they're going to patch these trophies.
They don't give a shit. It's fucked.
No, yeah.
It's super fucked. Talk about a bad platinum.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That is not a good way to spend your time playing that multiplayer.
Can't recommend.
No.
Speaking of bad ways to spend your time.
Uh-huh.
How's Sonic going, Kyle?
Yeah, so remember when I was playing all the 3D Sonic games?
I do.
I played another one, Sonic Unleashed. I'm going to share my tier list here. If you're listening on the podcast, you can check out the video version to get a visual of my tier list. Guess what? There's
link
nothing
to the channel in the description.
Yeah, there's nothing in ranks S, A, or B. The highest ranked Sonic game so far is a C, and that is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. The second C is Shadow the Hedgehog. The third C is the first Sonic Adventure, which I played on Dreamcast. The fourth C is Sonic Unleashed. I just played the 4th best Sonic game I've played. Then we have we have Sonic Heroes as the only D. We have Sonic 3D Blast as the only F. And then there's a tier below F called Why, Oh God, Why? And that's Sonic in the Secret Rings and Sonic 06. Those are... If you defend those games on the street and I am near you, I will be going to prison. Fuck those video games. Fuck all of them, but some of them way more than others. So Sonic Unleashed, I played the Wii version. And Cody, this is part of an old deal that we had made together. I have to play the Sonic games on what is ostensibly the worst platform for each one with the worst control method. Sonic Unleashed has Wii Classic controller compatibility. I was not allowed to play with the Wii Classic controller. I had to do the motion
What's the point of playing on the Wii if you're going to use a controller?
Because turns out the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed is the same as the PS2 version. They just added motion controls, whereas the PS3 and 360 versions have parity, but they are different. The Wii version actually, they're way longer on PS3 and 360. The Wii version is actually shorter. So I feel like I did get off easy a little bit playing the Wii version.
Yeah, it sounds like you need to also play on PS3.
I don't know about that, Shay. I don't know about that. Yeah, it was a bad time. What's next for me on this horrible trip?
Black Knight, baby.
That's right. It's Sonic and the fucking Black Knight also on the Wii, and then Sonic Colors on the Wii after that. I have 2 more Wii Sonic games. But there's so many good games to play. But I have to get these done.
It's just hearing your anger at a thing you decided to do for no reason. Like, there's no purpose behind this.
It was a blood pact.
You're just
blood
doing
pact.
it.
It was a blood pact.
A
deal's a deal.
My soul is on the line.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree that you are now obligated, but no one forced you to sign up for this, is my point.
Yeah. That's
so
true.
Regret, that's a justifiable feeling. The anger, it's just like, I have no pity. I guess that's what it is. I have no pity for you.
I think that's fair.
You chose to do this.
I think that's entirely fair.
Maybe you will learn something from this on how you choose to make decisions.
I've certainly learned a lot about Sonic video games. I'll tell you that much.
Hey, they wouldn't keep making them if they weren't so popular. A lot of weirdos out there. That's our playlist. That's like what, more than 10 different games?
Yeah.
Playing a lot of shit. And so some stuff we even cut because we knew it was going to be too long.
That's true.
So let's move on to our critical hits. Kyle, you're going to get us started with a little plug here and an update.
So last episode I talked about Fear Zine, and how I had some issues with the first physical issue number 2. I had some problems with it, just structurally. I quality of writing, there were some, it was very much like a beta prototype. I just wanted to follow up and say that I got their issue number 3, and a lot of those problems that I had were solved. They have gone through and like reworked the layout, so it's not just like boom, 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 pages and pages of these like half-page write-ups on these games. They've sprinkled through like a bunch of new features and stuff. I think on the whole, the quality of writing is a little bit better. There do remain a couple of contributors who I think have no business writing. They need some help, I should say. I shouldn't be mean. I should say they just need some help with their sentence structure. They could open a thesaurus every now and then, I think would be helpful. But I think on the whole, a much better experience this time around. I also have another thing that I would like to plug. Hashtag not an ad. This just released on Bitmap Books, but it's 50 indie games that changed the world. This is a beautiful hardbound book with some really nice prints. Like this one is oh shit, what's the title? Into the Breach. Here's for the video viewers, you get like nice glossy pages with these prints, and some of them are like full screen write-up images and stuff of various indie games.
What's
it's
the
really
write-up?
well
Is it? What's the write-up? Is it a description of the game? Is it?
Yeah, so they talk about what the game is, but also, what went into making the game, what makes it an indie game, what was the impact of it on the industry and the games that have followed, and how it inspired different subgenres and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff
Some games take up multiple pages, because that looks far more
for
than
sure.
50 pages.
Yes, yeah. They're all multiple pages.
Okay.
It's got Cuphead, Spelunky, Journeys in here, Stardew Valley, Steam World, Limbo, Shovel Knight, Tunic, Ori and the Blind Forest, Castle Crashers, bunch of stuff. Bunch of cool games to read about in there.
Nice.
That's on Bitmap Books, and I would highly recommend it. I've read the first couple features in there because I just finished reading Fear Zine, so I've started this now, and it just released. So if that at all interests you as like a coffee table book, I think it's a really solid one if you're a hashtag gamer. So go check it out.
$45 is extremely affordable for
as big as that is. Yeah, coffee table books tend to be way more.
I assumed it was going to be $100.
Yeah.
I am adding that to my Christmas list. And if I don't get it, I'll buy it myself.
But yeah. So,
all right, what else you got, Kyle?
Yeah, so my real critical hit is a story I saw published on VGC. It was originally talked about on the Digital Foundry Direct podcast. Which shout outs to Digital Foundry. They're now, I believe, independent, I think, recently. This is I'm just going to read a couple snippets from an article by Chris Scullion at VGC. He's quoting the Digital Foundry podcast. They can't get the hardware. Nintendo is reportedly telling would-be Switch 2 devs to release on Switch instead. Follow me down this little bit of a rabbit hole here. So John Linneman and Oliver McKenzie from Digital Foundry have reported they were told by numerous developers that they're unable to get a hold of development kits for Switch 2. And so therefore they cannot develop their games for Switch 2 feature sets or specs or parameters. According to Linneman, some developers were instead being told by Nintendo to make games for the original Switch for now, instead of working on Switch 2 titles. And here's some quotes. There's been a lot of talk about this lately, that Nintendo seems to be almost discouraging Switch 2 development to some degree. I have spoken with plenty of developers where they were told that their game, they should just ship it on Switch 1 and then rely on backwards compatibility. There have been a lot of developers unable to get Switch 2 dev kits. We talked to a lot of devs at Gamescom this year, which just happened recently. And so many of them said the same thing. They want to switch on Ship 2. They would love to do Switch 2 versions. They cannot get the hardware. It's really difficult right now. And the last little bit I'll read here is, considering the sales volume of Switch 2, it's not like developers would be in a position where they didn't want to support the new hardware. I think, broadly speaking, developers do want to support the new hardware. Hope it's a temporary thing. I hope in a year or two we're looking back and we're like, that was a weird decision, but it was fixed in time. So I wanted to talk about that because that's weird.
Well, there also seems to be no rhyme or reason. Like, there were examples where some rando tiny indie devs got a Switch 2 dev kit, but other like larger studios have not gotten one.
It's very uneven. Yeah. It's like you're seeing a lot of first-party Nintendo Switch 2 versions for like Breath of the Wild. I think Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby just came out like today. I got that. And like there are a couple of instances of that happening, but you're not really seeing that happen on the third party front, aside from maybe one or two examples. And I guess it's because people just haven't been getting dev kits, which is wild. So I guess like my question for the two of you, and something I want to talk about in regards to this, how do we think this is going to affect Switch 2 hardware adoption rate going forward? Because clearly, like, it sold super well at launch because all the sickos got one. I got two. Like, so all like the hardcore people who are, I was listening to Matt Piscatella talk on Game Mess Mornings this week. He said something. What term did he use? Price insensitive consumers, which I thought was an interesting way to talk about that. So it's just like the people who are gonna get it no matter what it costs because the thing is that important to them. That's where I fell. Just knowing like my partner and I, we need this in our lives. Like I feel a compulsion to get it because I want to keep trying to play Nintendo games, and also I want to be able to talk about them on this podcast and with the people that I engage with in my life. So I feel compelled to do it that way. There are a lot of people who, I mean, financially right now, especially with the world being the way it is and job market being the way it is, a lot of people can't swing the money for it. Come this holiday season, like the fact that we don't have Switch 2 versions of a lot of games that people may have missed out on in the first generation or whatever, like, do you guys think that's going to hurt holiday sales? Like, what's your kind of gut feeling on it?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that for a lot of people, like the people that buy a Switch are people that are buying it as a second console or to play Nintendo games, or people who are only buying it because they don't play a ton of stuff. Anyone that's like a hardcore gamer that's trying to play multi-platform games are not buying a Switch to do that exclusively. And I think a Switch 2 is exactly the same. I think that the majority of people that have bought a Switch 2 are people who already own another console or a PC where they were playing most of their things. I do not think a lot of people that own a Switch 1 and only a Switch 1 and want to play other games are going out to buy a Switch 2. I think that they have purchased a PlayStation 5 or will purchase a PlayStation 5, because why would you not?
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that the Nintendo games from Switch are on Switch 2 and great experiences. And there are a couple, like Mario Kart and Donkey Kong are two killer apps, if you will, for Switch 2. I think that that's enough. I think that that is enough to like make people excited about it in the holiday season. The bigger thing is the price or the console confusion, which is always a challenge when you name something like the Switch 2. Like the people, the parents and the grandparents that don't know any better. Like that's the bigger concern. Not, oh, my grandson wants to play this random AA or this random indie game that is but they can still play it on Switch 2. It's just through backwards compat. It's not a dedicated Switch 2 version.
Also, depending on the game, they may not even need the power of the Switch 2
totally
for whatever the game is, especially if it is third party or smaller. So maybe it's not even that big of an impact on the game. I mean, maybe it's just as good to play it, on the Switch 1 version on the Switch 2 via backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
It is super weird. Don't get me wrong.
I think
it is very weird.
I think I agree with you both that it's not going to impact things in the short term, because Nintendo does have all the first party stuff, and that's where most people are adopting it for anyways. I think in the long term, this is going to hurt the library in a big way, because not just like Switch 2 versions of existing games, like porting or whatever, but like just new games. Like there are studios who are going to want to take advantage of this, who have ideas that would require taking advantage of the Switch 2's hardware. And I think that hurts.
It hurts
the
new
library.
Games on Switch. Yes, the Switch 2 library, for sure.
Right.
Because then you might have an instance where games just aren't launching on Switch 2 or Switch at all.
Right.
And it's just a PS6 and an Xbox whatever version, and there's no Nintendo version.
Right.
Assuming they don't fix this, like assuming they, but
Totally.
Yeah, but like the time to have fixed this is before the thing comes out.
Well,
because then when you send people dev kits, you're sending them a dev kit 1.5 for these smaller games, smaller studio games, 1.5, 2 years before the game would feasibly come out, so that they have time to develop to the specs of the system that you're sending them. So if they're gonna start sending those out, could be like 1.5, 2 years before we see games developed specifically for the feature set of the Switch 2.
That 100% yes.
Yeah.
I think at least in Nintendo's mind, publishing it, like most of these studios would have intended to publish on Switch and Switch 2.
Sure.
Like I don't think that there were a lot of independent developers making games exclusively for the Switch 2 that had to pivot and make it for the Switch 1.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, like, I think the use case of an independent studio that wanted to make a Switch 2 exclusive game that cannot get a dev kit is a very, very small use case.
Well, because I
do think it exists.
I look to independent, when I say feature set, I do mean feature set, like the mouse functionality, the specific calibration of the motion control stuff for it and all that. We're not going to get cool games like that. Like Dragon Drive, not a good game, but like it's a Nintendo console with an interesting new way to have a controller input. I want to see more games take advantage of that, because that's fun, creative, and you generate new ideas and kinds of experiences when you get access to that. And so the idea that the 5 studios that were going to make cool mouse control games on the Switch 2, they haven't been able to make those games yet, and that's a bummer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the quantity of those is very small.
Yeah,
but it isn't
those are
zero.
edge cases,
and right now it's 0. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's strange. Nintendo continues
They're always
to
finding
baffle.
new ways. Yeah. All right. Well, Cody, what you got?
Yeah, I wanted to bring up No Man's Sky, the game that always looks so incredible in every trailer that they put out, but I just never find myself going back to play. So No Man's Sky received its latest major content update, Voyagers, just a couple of days ago. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but this marks the 39th free major content update that they've provided since
That's crazy.
in 2016.
Wow.
39. PC Gamer recently published an article covering the update. And while their conversation with Sean Murray was focused on No Man's Sky, it also provided some insight into their next project, Light No Fire. This comes from Chris Livingston at PC Gamer. The No Man's Sky Voyagers update means players can now build custom starships for the first time. These ships are big enough for several crew members and allow players to get up and walk around inside their ships. Essentially, they're flying bases that can be edited and customized even when you're traveling between planets, which
That's
Murray says
cool.
wasn't easy. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Murray says wasn't easy for the team at Hello Games to bring to life. Quote, the technical challenges that they had to overcome to make any of this possible have been immense. Almost every part of the game had to be reworked to accommodate these relative spaces, Murray said in an email sent to PC Gamer. The new shipbuilding system won't just be used in No Man's Sky either. Quote, much of the technology we're introducing in Voyagers is shared with our next game, Light No Fire, which is truly an open world, a shared Earth-sized planet with real ocean-sized oceans to traverse, needing large boats and crews, Murray said. We love that we get to share this technology with players early.
That's pretty
cool. On one hand, we
mobile
have
boat bases in Light No Fire.
For sure.
Hell
like,
yeah.
On one hand, we have the just incredible support that Hello Games has given No Man's Sky since its incredibly rocky launch, with an update that sounds really cool. And on the other, just imagine, like I loved it from the onset when we got that first reveal trailer for Light No Fire. I like the idea of this is a world-sized world. I like the scale. I think that's a really cool an idea, and I really hope they can pull it off. But just the idea of like a micro facet of this game is basically what sounds like Sea of Thieves, where you all get in your boat and then you all have a job to get across this big body of water. But that's just a part of this game. That sounds very exciting. And another tidbit, I was already looking forward to Light No Fire, but this little tidbit we got really excited me even more. So I don't really have a question to go along with this. I just wanted to sort of share that news and say that really looking forward to Light No Fire, and maybe someday I'll go back to No Man's Sky.
Yeah,
I own No Man's Sky. I've never played it. I bought it on a random Amazon Prime sale like a couple months after it came out, and have never even opened the box.
Interesting. Wow. I played quite a bit of it like at launch, and then maybe shortly after, like an update. And then Cody, you and I checked in on it at one point, like a couple of years ago after another big content drop, and like barely played any of it. Yeah, I
watch all of their trailers.
No Man's Sky, maybe
every single one of their trailers I watch because I'm interested in what they're doing.
I don't think it has a hook. I think that's been the problem for me. There's not really an objective, really.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have fixed that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. But that sounds really cool.
Because like the quote unquote objective when it launched was get to the center of the universe. I still don't know if anyone has done that or what was there when they got there, but
I think it kind of just like restarts the game for you when you do that. I remember hearing people being very underwhelmed with what that actually was.
Bummer.
Yeah. But that is cool.
Like Light No Fire, like I want to know more about, and maybe they just don't really know because it's still early, but like I want to know more about like what is the game play? Like what is the game? I get the scale. I understand the interactions that can happen. What is the game? What am I doing?
I mean, that's sort of the same thing as No Man's Sky. I mean, originally it's just like,
I guess like I want to know what are the moment to moment possibilities.
Yeah.
And I we need more information, need more trailers.
Yeah.
Crazy that they're obviously crazy that they're supporting this, almost 10 years after launch, but that they're able to do these massive content updates while also developing the brand new game. But it sounds like, and for this instance here, that they're able to use a lot of the lessons learned and technology created, to do these updates in their new game. So
yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's smart.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's like the Ryagago Toku, or like the Yakuza folks.
RGG.
RGG. Like they reuse a lot of their assets and a lot of their gameplay systems and the framework of things game to game, and lets them churn stuff out faster. It's like it's an upfront cost that you hope to make up through efficiencies later, and I think that makes a lot of sense if you're a sustainable business.
For sure.
Well, cool. I am last on the list. We talked a lot about Bungie and Destiny last episode because that was our game select. But there's been some updates when it comes to what's happening with Bungie. Namely that the whole we're an independent studio that's just part of Sony is really like not gonna be a thing. I have this article from PC Gamer, but it's a quote from Sony's earnings call, which I believe happened a couple of weeks ago. At the time of acquisition, we were offering a very independent environment. So that was one way of thinking. However, thereafter, we've gone through structural reform as we announced last year. So from this type of independence, this independence is getting lighter. So Bungie is shifting into a role.
That's like such CEO fucking like.
Well, and it's also translated from Japanese. It's worth saying it's translated from Japanese, so it makes it complicated as always. But so Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more a part of PlayStation Studio, and integration is also proceeding. So in the long term, if you can see this as an ongoing process, the direction is to become part of PlayStation Studios. So yeah, I remember when the acquisition was originally announced, it was very much Bungie saying, we're still an independent studio. This is just funding from Sony. We're doing our own thing. And those cracks started to show pretty quickly when things were not really working out well with Destiny 2. And it was also released or revealed that there were certain like benchmarks along with like revenue and deadlines and stuff that Bungie needed to hit in order to retain that independence, and they were failing at those things.
Right.
And then with the whole Marathon debacle, it's like it makes sense why all this is happening. Pete Parsons, the Bungie CEO, is now out. He has retired, aka golden parachuted his way out of mismanaging an entire studio with hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, this like the future is Bungie is a PlayStation studio, just like Naughty Dog and Insomniac and Sucker Punch and a bunch of other studios are. Yep. I don't think this is a bad ending. I think it sucks because more people are going to lose their jobs because, of course, they are.
For sure.
But like, it's not like Bungie was doing a good job by itself, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So, yeah, I don't think that there's as much drama associated with this as I think a lot of people do. I've seen a lot of people blaming Sony for Bungie's struggles, which I think is asinine. Because, like, they bought them, like, 3 years ago, I think. Destiny 2 was already in the shit can, and Marathon was already well into development. To me, it seems like Sony is taking proactive steps to make their stuff better. They are streamlining what's happening with Destiny because that game just isn't it for the future.
Right.
And they delayed Marathon because that shit ain't it for the future either. It's possible some Sony executive is the one who's to blame for Marathon being the way that it is, but I kind of doubt that. So I don't know. It's weird, but I think it's probably for the best. At least in a couple of years, I think we'll feel like it's for the best.
Yeah,
Kyle broached an interesting question the other day of what if Bungie, like, what's the word? Consulted on a new Halo game. Now that, exclusivity is out the window.
Right.
Obviously, they wouldn't be the one to fully develop it, but
most of those people aren't even there anymore, is the thing.
That's
like they've got a couple of their like level designers and stuff that are still there, but I feel like most of that team is gone.
But maybe they could teach 343 how to make the shooting feel good again.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see what happens with Halo. That's not going to happen because like
no.
A first-party Sony team is not going to consult with a first-party Microsoft team. It's just never going to happen. But I think it would be nice if it did. I think they could learn a little bit from it. Yeah, because shit's bad on both sides. Like 343's sucking at Halo, and Bungie's doing poorly at Destiny and Marathon. So you take two bad things, you smash it, two negatives to make a positive is what I say. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
That's math.
Yeah. Math doesn't
Negative
lie.
1 plus negative 1.
-2.
-1 plus -1, isn't that 0?
Nope. Because a
sure?
-1 plus a -1 would be a -1 minus 1, because the plus and minus. So that's -2.
Well, there you go.
Math.
-2 is better. It's -2 is better than -1. It's bigger. You know?
Also not how that works.
I know. All right, well, those are our critical hits for this episode. Weird times, weird shit happening, per usual.
Let us know what you
Let's
think
jump
down in the
into,
comments.
yeah.
Like, where do you think Sony is headed with Bungie? What kind of projects would you like to see them leverage Bungie on?
Right.
Not Bungie. Yes, Bungie. Yes, Bungie.
Yes, Bungie. Yeah, drop a comment. Send us an email, partyselectpod@gmail.com. Let's move into Fantasy Critic. A lot of stuff happened in August. None of it good for me, personally,
or
in my
me.
roster. Or Kyle. I didn't have anything that came out in August. But Cody had 4 things come out. And what I think is the nail in the coffin on the actual championship news broke. You want to talk through that, Cody?
Yeah, so I had Sword of the Sea come out, which got me an 87. Mafia the Old Country, which we previously talked about, is down to a 74. Didn't do great. Snake Eater Delta is at a 90.
That's crazy.
Now,
it's a fucking remaster, man.
Oh, it's
what
so
are we doing?
good, though.
I believe you, but it's just
our Fantasy Critic page says 87. Maybe it hasn't updated.
Refresh, buddy. Refresh your page, buddy. Yeah, it's at a 90 right now. And then Gears of War Reloaded is at an 81. So all around, scored pretty all right. Are you seeing the 90 reflect now?
No, I don't know when their tool pulls Open Critic for the data, so it probably just hasn't refreshed.
Yeah, Open Critic says 87.
I'm seeing it on Fantasy Critic as a 90. Oh no, sorry, I was looking at the wrong row.
Oh, you were looking at Death Stranding too.
I'm just stupid. It is an 87.
Okay,
that's still good.
Yeah, it's still good for sure. Yeah, 380s, 2 high 80s, 1 low 80, and then a 74. Not too bad. But as you mentioned, we did get confirmation and a release date of this week as the time this comes out.
Right.
Yep.
Just in a couple days. That Silk Song is releasing.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's going to review well. Though review copies have not been sent out for that.
True.
Which is
that could just be a
odd.
timing thing. It was
But
sort of like
could
a
just be
late
timing thing.
announcement.
It's also like they're a very small team that's going to be a huge game. Like having NDAs and like managing that whole process and people who break them and leak stuff. That's a big job. I don't think that team wants to fuck with it. So
that's fair.
So
and they're confident. It's not like they need good reviews to sell that game.
Sure.
And Shay, you
As
had
of right now-
counterpicked Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yes. So that confirms all 3 of my counter picks are coming out this year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get negative points on all 3 of those games, which really sucks.
As of right now, I'm projected to have 187. You're projected to have 183. So it's still anyone's game.
Not mine.
I don't think so.
Well,
And that's what really matters. The whole thing is we don't want to lose, but
Right.
I'm toxically competitive, so if I don't win, I'm not happy.
Yeah, Ken Levine broke the silence on Judas. He did an interview, but he didn't give a date during that interview. He just said, we're still working on it.
it takes a long time to make games.
Yeah. You know what? He's right. It does. Which means Judas is probably also not coming out this year. Which means out of all my games, Venom game's not happening. Grand Theft Auto 6 got pushed. Judas is not going to come out this year. And Directive 8020 got pushed. So 4 of my games are zeros.
I don't know if Shay, you watched the Nintendo Direct where they talked about Kirby for 40 minutes. Their Kirby Air
I
Rider
did
for 40
not.
minutes.
No.
But they interview Sakurai. Sakurai? Yeah, Sakurai.
Yeah.
And at the beginning,
Yeah,
and
it's
he
funny.
goes, "Why are games so hard to make nowadays?"
No, he does this. He does this big long sigh at the beginning. He goes, "Oh, why are games so hard to make?"
It's
Yeah, brother.
Damn. Yeah, it's brutal out here.
Bars.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking forward to next month. Shay, you have Hirogami, Indiana Jones DLC, Borderlands 4. Cody,
Okay,
you have
I need some points.
Yeah, Cody, you have Silk Song, and then Tactics Ivalice Chronicles, and then I have Silent Hill F and Chronos: The New Dawn. Nothing can save me, so it doesn't fucking matter what happens to my games. I guess Chronos matters because Shay, you counterpicked it, so whatever score,
Yeah.
I guess it matters in that respect. But maybe Chronos will get like a 60, and you'll gain points, Shay.
Maybe. It doesn't look bad, so I doubt it, but maybe.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, my Mario game is not happening. Skate Story still doesn't have a release date, so that's not looking awesome for me either.
True.
Maybe
It's not looking good.
Maybe Rockstar will shadow drop GTA 6 on Christmas and just be like, "Hey, go buy our game."
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's possible.
I do have the
Okay.
highest rated game.
Yeah.
On mine.
I
You
think
gotta hang
wasn't
your
it-
hat somewhere.
I think it's the 2 highest rated.
Oh
right?
yeah, I think you're right. I have
Donkey
Bonanza
Kong
and
and Claire
Claire.
Obscure.
Yeah. Yep.
Not bad.
So in a way, I did win, but
And you stole Mina from me just to lose
In
the
a way.
fucking thing. Unbelievable.
Well, you stole Sword of the Sea from me, so it's all
Well,
fair. All fair. All right, let's move on to September game releases because this is an extremely long list.
well, real quick,
As Kyle, yeah, go ahead.
side quests.
Oh
if
yes, we don't have any emails,
Yeah.
which is why I didn't mention it. But yeah, send us an email, partyselectpod@gmail.com. Drop us a comment. We want to hear from you. Let us know whatever you think about anything.
Yeah,
Seriously.
anything.
Right, last month we had someone asked about our Chipotle order. Like, we'll talk about it. We don't care.
Make fun of me for losing. Hey, if you have ideas, because the deal is whoever loses Fantasy Critic has to play a video game that released this year of the other two's choosing.
Right.
Or I guess we should probably say the
The winner.
winner's
The winner
choosing.
gets Yep.
If you have ideas on bad video games that released this year that I should play, send us those for some
Yeah.
inspiration.
That's a good one. Let's talk about September releases. Starting off on the 3rd, as Kyle mentioned, I have Hirogami on my Fantasy Critic roster that comes out on the 3rd on PlayStation 5 and PC. This is a puzzle platformer where you play a character who can sort of morph through origami. Has a very cool aesthetic. I'm very excited for it. It seems like another one of those games for Shay.
Yeah, it's like Journey or Sword of the Sea mashed with Tearaway.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds cool.
I need games that I like.
Yeah, that's true.
As we discussed earlier on the 4th, Hollow Knight Silk Song for the PS4, PS5, Switch 1 and 2, Xbox One, Xbox Series, all the Xboxes, and PC.
Also on the 4th is Hell Is Us. That's a Souls-like game that's coming out on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC.
That game has some Death Stranding energy to it too, and like the design
Maybe
of the
a
main
little.
character. Isn't there
Yeah.
like a little robot arm thing on
maybe,
you, just like there is in
maybe.
Death Stranding?
I think that
Yeah.
the big thing this game's touting about its design is like there are no objective markers. It's you got to talk to the NPCs. and-
Very a la Darkness One.
yeah, very darkness,
Darkness One
coded.
walked, so Hell As Us could run.
That's right. That's right.
And then finally on the 4th is Indiana Jones and the Order of Giants DLC for the Indiana Jones game. This is also on my Fantasy Critic roster. I'm very hyped for this. The first game, or the original vanilla game, I think it was like my number 3 game of the year last year. So hopefully this
Super
is good too.
Yeah. The day after on the 5th, Chronos: The New Dawn drops. We just talked about that. PS5, Switch 2, all the Xboxes, and PC. This is the Bloober Team's next game coming hot off the heels of the Silent Hill 2 remake success.
Very Dead Space.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks cool. I got to read some reviews on the spook factor before
Sure.
I can commit to that one, because it looks a little more spooks than Dead Space even was.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead a week to the 12th is Borderlands 4. Everybody knows what Borderlands is. This is coming to everything, including Switch 2, but I think not for like another month. I think it releases on Switch 2 like a month later.
Okay.
And then on the 15th is Lego Voyagers, which is coming to everything. Is this coming to Switch 2 also? It just says Switch on here. But that is a sort of cutesy Lego game where you play as little Lego figures on a little journey. A little voyage, if you will. So I'll probably check this out with my kids at some point.
Yeah, it seems super cute. Same day on the 15th. This actually got pushed back to the 15th to avoid Silksong window. Little Witch in the Woods coming to Xbox, all the Xboxes and PC. It's like a cute little Stardew Valley where you play a witch in the woods, and it has some very cute pixel art and some fun soundtrack stuff going on. So that looks like a fun time. On the 18th is Ratatan. We mentioned this last month, and then prior to the episode going live, they actually pushed Ratatan into this month. The early access on PC. This is the new game by the Patapon folks. It's a roguelite, kind of a run-based take on that, but a lot of screaming Japanese children in rhythm. Full release is going to be on PS5, the Xbox Series consoles, Switch, and PC, but for early access, it's just on PC, starting on the 18th.
Also on the 18th is Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree, which is coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox, and Switch. This is like an isometric roguelite that looks really interesting to me. It's got a cool sort of hand-drawn animated style. Very Japanese. Like, it's got some of that anime vibe, which is less of my thing, but it's a cool like fantasy anthropomorphic animals kind of thing to it. So looks like a cool one of those.
Yeah, you're into furries. On the 19th is Dying Light the Beast.
Speaking of furries.
Yeah. The Beast. Sonic Unleashed. PS5, the Xbox Series consoles, and PC. This is a game I would get any other month, but this month is stacked, so it's going to have to wait.
Did you play Dying Light 2?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know that I beat it, but I played quite a bit of it and enjoyed it a lot.
I liked the first one. The nighttime stuff was too scary.
Okay.
I
liked
skipped the second one.
I liked 2 until the limitations of the like choice about like what happens to what district or whatever, until that started to really kind of like become transparent to me about how kind of lame that system was. Then I kind of fell off because I felt like I was waiting for something more impactful to happen and just never kind of did, so I dropped off. It was also buggy at launch.
What were the ones before that like Deep Silver made?
Dead Island. Yeah.
Those I liked.
Those are great.
They were stupid, but I liked those.
Super stupid. Same day as Dying Light is a game coming out on PC called Eclipsium. It's a narrative horror game, first person, but it has a really cool art style. It's like very PS1 pixely graphics, but far more stylized. And has sort of like some sort of like a pixelated film grain filter on it. The art is really cool, but it's a narrative first-person horror game. I don't know that there's combat or anything. It's probably like puzzle based. But that's Eclipsium coming out on the 19th.
I don't like how that one looks.
It looks cool.
I don't like that one.
That was a fear zine game that I found.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Also on the 19th is Jump Space for PC.
Right.
This is a 4-player PvE mission-based space sci-fi game.
Used to be called
cool.
Jump
Ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now it's Jump Space.
Yes.
Much better title. Super clear.
Yeah, I don't know
No confusion possible.
Don't know why they changed it.
I think it isn't there like a multiplayer game that just recently came out called Jump Ship?
Is there?
Or something very similar to that? I don't know. Maybe I'm smoking something I shouldn't be. I don't know. New multiplayer space game in ships.
There's Void Crew coming out in September, which we did not add to this list.
I think I'm thinking of Wildgate. Never mind. Ignore me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Never mind. Anyway, yes, it's now called Jump Space. It looks pretty cool. PvE, love that. There's no PvP bullshit in this.
That's right.
So go check out Jump Space. Looks pretty cool. And then followed a few days after that on the 23rd is Baby Steps for the PS5 and PC. This originally was supposed to release earlier in the month, but also got pushed to get out of the Silksong release window.
Right. This is Bennett Foddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a Foddy like, but actual Foddy. Foddy.
Correct.
Cool. On the 25th, Silent Hill Fortissimo. I think it's just
can't wait to watch you play this, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm gonna keep it low and loose.
That's right.
Coming out for PS5, the Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Very excited for that. The day after, on the 26th, Clover Pit is releasing on PC.
Hell yeah.
This is a very like retro pixel 3D graphics, like a lot of grunge looking game. First person, but you're trapped in a room, and in order to survive and not have the floor drop out and fall into a pit, you have to gamble, and you have to use a slot machine.
It's Balatro, but slots.
Yeah, Balatro for Solatro. And you get like little upgrade things that change the way the mechanics and the slots work and give you bonuses, etc., etc. It looks pretty rad. Clover Pit. Also on the 26th, Pac-Man World 2 Repack, which is releasing on PS4 and 5, Switch 1 and 2, all the Xboxes and PC. My partner's very excited for this. They played Pac-Man World 1 or 2 when they were growing up on the GameCube, I think it was, and have really fond memories of that. I think it's just like a decent, better than you would expect platformers. And so they
Not correct. Bad.
Well,
bad.
I would expect a 3D Pac-Man platformer to be awful. So yes. I think they're not awful. So it is better than you expect.
Incorrect. That is not correct.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to... There are people who really like them.
Sure.
My partner being one of them. So they've already done Pac-Man World 1 Repack, and now they're doing 2 Repack. Unfortunately, on Switch 2, it's a game key card. So fuck off. On the 30th, Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition coming out on PS5 and PC. This was a VR game that they are now making a non-VR version of, and it's basically like a new Alien Isolation. And people have a lot of good things to say about it as a VR game, so I don't really feel like playing VR anymore. I'm kind of over it. So I would like to check this out, because I liked Alien Isolation quite a bit. That's Alien Rogue Incursion Evolved Edition. And lastly, Cody.
Oh, I am last. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Evilise Chronicles, releasing on the 30th as well. For PS4, PS5, Switch 1 and 2, the Xbox Series consoles, and PC. I'm very looking forward to this.
Looks great.
Very much so.
Yeah, if I have really time, good. I might check this out too, because I've never played this one. I played Tactics Advance.
I've not either, yeah.
We talked about this on our 2003 Best Games podcast. These games are not really for me, but there's so much nostalgia and like things that can be tied back to these games that I kind of want to give them a shake. So if I have time, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Good Switch 2 game for me.
Right.
Big month.
Yes.
A lot of stuff.
No kidding.
We decided not to get fancy with Game Select because we're all planning on playing a lot of things, and a lot of us are planning on playing some different things potentially. So we were like, what's the thing all of us are all going to play anyway? And so our game select for September is going to be the Indiana Jones and the Order of Giants DLC.
Yeah.
We're all hyped for it. We're all intending to play it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about that next month. And you'll also hear a bunch about many of these games on next month's episode. If you want to play Indiana Jones DLC also, you can do that. And then drop us a comment on this video. And or write us an email to partyselectpod@gmail.com. That is partyselectpod@gmail.com, and we'll read it on the podcast as we're having our discussion. So do that. But like, hey, if you're planning on playing anything else, Hollow Knight, Hirogami, Ratatan, Baby Steps, Pac-Man, don't write me about Pac-Man.
Right,
but there's a lot of stuff to choose from. Sure,
I want to hear your childhood memories of Pac-Man.
I will absolutely read an email that someone wants to write us in about Pac-Man World 2, but I'll read it in this voice. So just be prepared for that.
Don't tempt me. We have an email
All
from
right.
Kyle?
Well, that's pretty much the podcast here. I guess it's worth saying, looking ahead to this next month, we will definitely be doing an episode with our worst games of 2003.
Yeah,
and there'll probably be some other stuff too. But we're flying a little looser these days than we have in the past because we kept failing at doing the things we wanted or we said we were going to do because we found other things we wanted to do instead. So we'll definitely do worst games of 2003.
We will
definitely
probably
have another.
Yeah, we'll do worst games of 2003. Maybe the following month we'll have a stream of one of those worst games where one of us will play it and it'll be fun time. So keep an eye out for that. That's what we've been doing. We've been streaming some of our top worst games.
Yeah. The best thing to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Follow the podcast. Hit the bell on the YouTube channel so you get notified when we got episodes. And especially when we're streaming, you'll get notified when we stream, which we're not going to bombard you. We stream, like we've been streaming like once a month, sometimes twice a month. So we're not going to invade your inbox with that. But we'd love to see you there. We'd love to see your comments and read your emails. And that's how you can join the party. Because that's what we're doing here. I'm excited to build my party in Ivalice Chronicles.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that party shit. We all have our own jobs. We're all our own alters. I don't know. You're definitely the miner. That's for sure. The, like, grumpy...
That's
asshole.
OR, not ER.
Oh,
miner. Yeah.
I need to ask my mom if I'm allowed to do this podcast.
What would be your Final Fantasy Tactics job? There are so many. Aren't there like 20 different jobs in those games?
Yeah, there are so many.
I would definitely want to be what's the like jump knight? What's that guy called?
Dragoon.
The Dragoon.
Yeah.
That's the shit right there. Big spear,
Yeah.
heavy armor.
Like a big old
That's what I
halberd.
want.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to be the mathematician.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where I...
Look, you had your opportunity during this episode, and you didn't jump in. So...
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
You need to review some of your negative number
You're right.
arithmetic.
You're right. When you're
I
right,
will
you're
also
right.
be reading Cody's emails with this voice from now on. If he's the mathematician.
Yeah, I would probably be a red mage.
Well, hold on. There's an
Solid
onion knight.
choice.
There's an onion knight. I was not aware of
That's
this.
true. There is a fucking onion knight. You're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right. And
So
you're always right.
I gotta go.
Red mage is a good choice, though.
Yeah.
Balanced, battle mage. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right. That's the podcast. Thank you all for listening/watching. Kyle and Cody, thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
Got it.
And we'll be back with some more video game stuff, man. There's plenty of them out there.
That's
there
all
are
we do
plenty
here.
of games. That's all we do here. Yeah. Peace out.